Hello, Fast Lego Studios here, and welcome back guys to week 6 of building up the Lego Simpsons Springfield. Let's jump right into it. And here we are again guys, yet again about to begin building the Lego Simpsons Springfield. But before I dive in any further, I once again want to mention to you guys, if you have not already supported the Lego Simpsons Krusty Burger on Lego Ideas, highly recommend you guys go ahead and support that project. Because if you do, and if the project itself hits 10,000 supporters, LEGO will take the Krusty Burger into consideration to becoming an official LEGO set. And this right here could be the return of the short-lived and highly anticipated LEGO Simpsons theme. So come on guys, we can make this happen, let's make it happen, and let's bring back the short-lived LEGO Simpsons theme. But with all of that out of the way, let's get back to building the Lego Simpsons Springfield for week number 6, right now. Alright guys, and jumping into week 6 of building Springfield, this week, continuing once again upon building the Simpsons House. What we'll be doing is building up the continuation of the interior to the entire second floor. Getting a lot more just detail being placed throughout the entire second floor. Getting a lot more furniture attached, and just perhaps, begin building up the roofs going right on top of the second floor. That is a maybe, I am not sure yet, but time will tell. And we'll see what progress we can make. And if you guys remember from last week, I said that I had another Bricklink order being on the way, and well, here it is. We've got the second Bricklink order in to be continuing the construction of the first floor. I believe with this one already being in, I think I am able to complete the entirety of the first floor. But nonetheless, we're going to be using all of these parts and seeing what progress is possible. But with all of that being said, let's move on to those updates and continue building up the Simpsons house. Alright guys, and jumping into the very first update of the week here, you guys can see I really haven't gotten too much progress made on the entire second floor of the Simpsons house. And that is because I've greatly been focusing upon building up and just finishing off the interior of the first floor. But before we go ahead and just peel off the entire second floor, show you guys how that looks, I have made a little bit of progress within the second floor, and I quickly just want to show you guys what that progress is. Starting off with Lisa's room, you guys can see I'm just getting some final little touches that were included within the official Lego Simpsons house set, and just adding in details like the mirror off on the wall right here, the Jazz Fest poster going right here, and then a couple of paintings that will be going right here, and this 2x2 over here that I'll soon enough graphic design will be a portrait of Bleeding Gums Murphy. And now moving into Bart's room, you guys can see I've got this little shelf being placed over his bed, with having a couple of toys soon enough being placed onto the shelf itself. And then right off on the wall right here, you guys can see I've added in the very same poster of Krusty the Clown that was included in the official set. And then finally, adding in a bunch more plates underneath the entire second floor of the Simpsons house, especially in the cross-section areas, as you guys can see right here, and just solidifying all of the areas possible and surrounding the outside perimeter of the house with plates. And this creates a lot more stability towards the second and first floor of the Simpsons house. And with great ease, the second floor of the Simpsons house comes off very easily from the first. You guys can see with all of these tiles being placed around the entire perimeter, it makes the entire just removal of the second floor greatly a lot better. But aside from that there, taking a closer look up into the progress, you guys can see some of those very small little elements that I mentioned in previous week's episodes that I just didn't have. And in particular, some of the new furniture that I built up here. This little vinyl disc stand right here, with having some of these speakers being placed right off on the side, having like a little player, I guess, on top. This room, in terms of its building, is complete, and so is the living room. These two rooms entirely complete, and I'm very happy, just to say the least. But then moving into the kitchen here, you guys can see we have greatly nearly completed the entire kitchen as well, adding in a bunch more tiles being placed throughout the entire floor, and adding in the second set of cupboards being placed right above the first. There still are a couple of touches that I want to add into the build, but for now, I'm really happy with how all of this is turning out. And some of those smaller details that you guys probably did not notice from the front of the kitchen here is this little glassware stand being placed right here. I've nearly completed it, a couple more modifications that I want to make overall, but so far I'm quite satisfied with my custom little build. And right off on the wall right here, just as I will be doing with a lot of little assemblies within the build, graphic designing the calendar going right in place over here. Now moving into the living room, you guys can see I've got the rug underneath the carpet all built up. Just gonna need to attach this little dining table being placed right on here, and that will finish off that entire build. Just missing a couple of parts going underneath the bottoms of the legs, but aside from that, you guys can see I've got this curtain assembly being placed right here. We've got the pantry hole complete, filling up each and every single one of those shelves with as many little touches that I've seen from the show as possible. And then moving into the rumpus room, haven't gotten too much progress being placed into here just yet. I have started, however, the overall carpet design going right over here, interpreting more or less of like a tic-tac-toe kind of rug design going right here that I'll soon enough be finishing off. And just look at that, guys. With having nearly the entire first floor of the Simpsons house complete, the entire design of the build so far is looking very clean, with the rooms themselves having all of these tiles being placed all throughout, with complementary furniture being placed all throughout as well. This just creates the very Simpsons aesthetic to the entire build in general. And not even to mention the whole accessibility point of view, with having the entire second floor of the Simpsons house being very easily removable from the first. The entire accessibility into the first floor is very easy. But with all of that being said, that is all of the progress that I've gotten done so far. So without further ado, guys, let's continue the construction of the Simpsons house. Alright guys, in jumping into the very next update of the week here, we have made yet another huge leap in terms of progress of building up the Simpsons house. I've not only gotten to building up the roof, but I've as well got some progress on the interior of the Simpsons house. You guys can see that this roof is basically the very same one that LEGO included when it comes to the official LEGO Simpsons house set. What I've basically done here is taken that very same design and just the overall aesthetic and expanded it and adapted it to the overall build and what I have going on, I guess you could call almost UCS version of the Simpsons house. And you guys may as well have noticed this little colorful bit going right over on the side of the roof. for now, this is a very temporary support structure that I have going on for how this is built for two main reasons. First off, is I was really just experimenting and understanding how do I want the slope underneath the roof that will be supporting the entire roof itself. How will that be attached onto the build, and at what slope should this entire roof be at? And for the second reason is, well, I am extremely running low on tan Lego bricks. You guys can see here, in terms of 1x4s, we literally just blew through the entire bag in last week's episode when we were really just building up the good majority of the second floor and finishing off the first. And in terms of 1x6s, it gets even worse than that. We absolutely emptied the entire bag of 1x6s. So soon I'll be making another bricklink order to get back in stock on bricks and continue just building up all of the walls going around the entire Simpsons house. Oh yeah, and for anyone wondering whether or not I'm going to be building up the attic right on top of the second floor of the Simpsons house, and I think at this point in time, the answer is yes. Given the fact that I now know how much space I have to work with, like understanding the overall slope that I have for the roof, it looks very possible. Because when you look at the Simpsons interior second floor, it looks like there is not that much room between, like, you have the ground and the ceiling right above. It's nowhere near as this much height here. Though that probably will not happen until I get the next bricklink order in with like all of the bricks to continue building up the rest of the build. But now, getting over into the interior of the second floor to the Simpsons house, starting off with the parents' bedroom, you guys can see I have just tiled off nearly the entire bedroom floor here with a bunch of just green tiles to simulate that carpets going all the way across. And I have started a custom piece of furniture going right here, and currently do not have a couple of parts to finish it off. But it essentially will look like, or at least the basic concept of what it will look like, is something similar to this piece of furniture right here that is supposed to be going in Lisa's room. It's basically like the very same idea and just that little drawer dresser assembly. So that will be in the future plans, and I will get that built very soon. But now moving into the bathroom, haven't really gotten too much progress in here, aside from just adding in a couple of these 2x2 medium blue tiles and adding in the toilets going right off on the side right here. Very minimal modifications, I would say. It's just changing out the flushing handle to being more of a tile going right in a place. And then moving out into the hallway right here, you guys can see I've got some plates being placed along here, and that is really for the reason being that I do not want to have everything that, like you have a carpet and then you have a rug over that carpet. I do not want everything to be tiled off and given the very same texture. While sure, it may be the very same material, just to give it a little bit more diversity and make it a little bit more interesting overall, I will be implementing plates going throughout, like the rugs being placed right on top of the carpets. You guys can see I've already done that right in Lisa's room, with having the red carpets being underneath her bed and with surrounding her room with a bunch more green tiles. And then finally, looking into Maggie's room at the moment, I really haven't gotten any progress, or at least too much progress, aside from just adding in some of this carpet going in here. But in the further weeks, I do plan to build up Maggie's room significantly more. Now, going back to that rugs and carpets topic being in mind, what you guys can see in the dining room at the moment here is I've actually swapped out nearly all of the tiles that were going right into this room. I've switched them out to being plates, and this here just creates a little bit more of an alteration between like the actual carpets and the rug going on top of the carpets. I've really taken great inspiration from the official LEGO Simpsons House sets, as they included this rug that was supposed to be going right in the TV room, and since it was more of a unique shape, it did require to have studs on top, and I guess with that being in mind, This makes a little bit more of a consistency between the rooms. I'll be applying the very same concept over into the rumpus room as well. But that right there, guys, is all of the progress that we have made in this week's episode. So with all of that being in mind, let's move out into the outro and finish off week number 6. And there we are, guys, at the end of week number 6 to be building up the Lego Simpsons Springfield. Yet again, guys, we have made absolutely phenomenal progress in this week's episode, nearly completing the very first floor interior of the house, moving up to the second floor, building up even more interior in there, and then moving up to the main roof of the build and getting a basic understanding and concept of how the roof will be looking like. Now, with that being said, what I am planning to do on next week's episode is really continue upon what we have going on. Given the fact that I still need to get those bricks to continue building up the rest of the Simpsons house, I still have plenty of other things that I can do while I'm waiting until that order comes in. What I'm hoping to do next week's episode is continue upon building up the roofs of the Simpsons house. And with this week being a very strong start to the whole roof concept and how am I going to be building them, I hope to continue it by next week's episode. Perhaps touch on a couple more points of the second floor interior and let the bricklink order just finish off all of those other small little touches inside of the interior and the exterior for all of those walls. So plenty more building left to go and further expand Springfield. And I absolutely cannot wait to install the LED lights into Springfield. And it doesn't even end there with the LED lights. There are other things that I want to incorporate into Springfield that I just haven't mentioned yet. I don't want to spoil anything here, so stay tuned to see what other additions am I able to incorporate into Springfield. But with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and comment down below in the comment section of what are your guys' thoughts on the Simpsons house so far. But with all of that being considered, keep on building, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.